Drowning in big documents? What if you could upload them and ask questions to get instant answers? In this video, I'll show you how to set up a Retrieval Augmented Generation system in n8n that lets you query huge files effortlessly. In this video, I'll show you how to set up Retrieval Augmented Generation system in n8n that lets you query huge files effortlessly. Whether you are a lawyer digging through case files, a student prepping for exams, or a business person analyzing reports, this workflow will help you. So we'll be creating this workflow in two stages. First, we'll store data in vector database. We'll connect Google Drive for this, and as soon as we upload a document on Google Drive, it will get automatically fetched and saved in our database. Second, we'll query the data and get answers. We'll start with the first one. I'll add the Google Drive node on changes to a specific folder. So I've added my account. You can add your account too. Just select OAuth and add client ID and client secret key, which you did for Gmail. If you don't know how to do that, you can watch previous videos. And poll times, this is the number of times or how often will the Google Drive check for updates. I've set it to 1 minute or every minute. Trigger on changes including a specific folder. So whatever change is there in this folder, this node will track it and then start working. I'll select the folder from the list which I just created. Rack store PDF data. You can name it however you like. On file created. So as soon as the file is added to this folder, this workflow should start executing. The next stage is we'll download this file which we just added into our node page or this application. So we'll again use a Google Drive node for this, and we'll select download a file. And here now, instead of selecting the file from this list, we can take it dynamically from the previous node. Let's leave it for later. For now, we will add our vector store. I'll use Pinecone Vector Store for this and add document to vector store. I've already added my Pinecone account. If you haven't already added one, you can create an account on pinecone.io and you'll easily find API key of your account, which you can add it here. Once you are done with that, let's insert a document and we'll select one of the database which you have created. Now instead of selecting a file which we want to download, we can select the file dynamically by receiving the data from the previous node of which file was recently added. So we'll leave this for later. The next node will be Pinecone Vector Database or Vector Store, and we'll select Add Document to Vector Store. Now, if you haven't created a Pinecone account and integrated it to your n8n account yet, you can go to pinecone.io. You can create your account, which would look like this, and you can easily find your API key here. You can create an API key and add it in your node and n8n. Now the next step is to create an index. We'll name it rag test. You can name it however you like. I'll select test embedding small 3, and for dimensions I have set it at 1536. This is how many dimensions will be there in which our data will be stored. Once we are done with that, we can create the database. Now let's go back to n8n and see if we can find our database there. And yeah, so I can find our database here now. I've connected it, rag test. For embeddings, I'll add OpenAI embeddings. And here I've selected text embedding 3 small again. For document, I'll select default data loader, which is of type JSON, and load all input data. I'll leave this as is. For text splitter, I will use token splitter, and again I'll leave this as is. So here it is, our data uploading is node is ready. I will need to make changes here. So we can add ID in this of the new file which we just uploaded on Google Drive. So how will you do that? We'll just click on expressions first. I'll select ID here and I'll write, and this should automatically take the ID of the file which we just uploaded. Now let's save this workflow and test it in Drive folder. I'm uploading a file which I have in my computer, which is file on Bitcoin, how it works and how it approves transaction and everything. So I've uploaded this. Let's see if this has triggered the execution. We'll wait for a few seconds because this runs this checks if there is any update on the folder every minute. So we'll wait for a few seconds and this should trigger automatically. And our workflow is running and it succeeded. Let's see. So the first thing it did was to take the file from Google Drive or detect if there were any changes in the Google Drive folder and then download that file using just the ID. The next step was to upload it on Pinecone database on our index or the file folder which we created on Pinecone, which was rag test. Now our document has been uploaded. The next step we will do is query those database. So let's create another pipeline for this. I'll add another trigger, which is a chat trigger. So I can query it on the same page. Now to ask questions, we'll need to take help from AI agent, which is here. And for this AI agent, I have already added my OpenAI account or connected my OpenAI account with n8n. I'll just use that. If you don't know how to do that, you can watch previous videos. I've explained that in details. I'll select GPT-4o mini model, and for memory, I'll use Windows buffer memory. Now for tools, which is a very important part of our query bot or rag bot, we will use vector store tool again, and we can name this anything. I'll write rag testing and description. Okay, so we cannot leave any spaces in between, so I'll just remove that space. And for description, I'll add call this tool when you need information about the document. All right, so that is it. Now we'll add a vector store for this. I'll move this workflow upwards. For vector store, I'll use Pinecone Vector Store again because we can use other vector stores as well. But as we have created account on Pinecone, it is more convenient. And from the list, which document or index do we want to query? I'll select rag test, and we have our Pinecone store ready. Next step will be embeddings, which will be OpenAI embeddings again. And I've selected text embedding 3 small. For model, we'll use OpenAI model again. And there it is. Our RAG bot is ready. You can ask any questions in the chat window here, and it should answer properly by looking into the data available in the document. So let's try asking a question. How does Bitcoin approve transactions? And this should run the workflow. Oh, we haven't saved the workflow yet. That's my bad. So I'll stop this and try asking again. How does Bitcoin approve transactions? So if you know about Bitcoin, there is a process of it approves transaction is different from traditional methods which banking sector does. So there are multiple nodes available in the Bitcoin network that approves the transaction together and then adds it in the ledger. So I ask the question, how does Bitcoin approve transactions? And the AI agent has queried the RAG bot and answered my question. The question was asked to vector store, which went to Pinecone tool. So how does this is the query, and yeah, so it looked into the data and answered our questions. Now, since you cannot always come to your n8n application and start the workflow, you can access it from external website. For that, click on this chat message received, switch this on, make chat publicly available, and this is the link which you can paste on browser, and that will create a window for us from where we can ask questions or queries to our RAG workflow. So I'll copy this work link, and before you leave, make sure you set this to open or active. And now open the link. You can paste the link on the browser, which will open this window, and here you can ask your questions, and which you did on the chat window on the n8n page. This window you can open in your mobile, tablets, or other devices as well. That's it about the RAG agent. If you found this video helpful, please give us a like, comments in the comment section. What would you like to see next? And do share this video with your friends and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.